Okay, here's what we have today. There wasn't much to be had at the recent Gutstown radio meet in my wheelhouse. There was only a couple of record players in the entire 3 days that people were there. This is the only record player I picked up, as a matter of fact, and this is a 9EY3, the first self-contained, with a speaker, that means, and the volume control, self-contained 45 record player that came out was first available for sale in 1949. And this is an early edition, most notable by the brass turntable, the gold colored brass turntable. After a fashion, as I've said in my previous videos, they painted these things like a gold painted color. These, when they're cleaned up, they look far nicer to me. Anyway, this video is going to focus mostly on the turntable itself. But I was amused by this one because the condition of the line cord. This is how you pretty much find them. And ironically, it still has the UL tag here on the cord. I don't think that would pass today. I haven't even plugged this in because I knew it was hurting for certain. The big problem with these things, when you ever find one of these, go to turn the turntable very gently. If it doesn't turn, don't try to force it. By trying to force it, what you're going to end up doing is breaking the gears. This is already apart in the interest of saving time. These are the separators, the record shelves and separators, and these are the revolving separators, which were used in the early machines. And the way these things work is in the rest position, they're like that, and the record's sitting on the black part to the right. As the thing starts to cycle, these things turn like this, and they slice between the record to be played and the next record on the shelf to be kept up in the air. And due to differences in the manufacturers, just in microns of thickness of the center hole, it was found by RCA that these things were jamming. And if the center hole wasn't exactly right, these things would go to slice into the record stack, and they would jam, and the whole thing would come to a stop, and something would have to give. Sometimes it broke these things off, and there's no repairing these. If this top part breaks off, you can't fix them. Because it's a splayed over at the time of manufacture, and there's no way to fix them except by replacing them. Which brings me to the most important part of this video, and that's taking apart these turntables. To get the turntable off, there are three things that have to be taken off. The first thing you have to take off is this here. This is the little star wheel, and there are two different screws used on these. The worst case scenario are what's called Bristol screws. They kind of look like tiny Phillips head screws, and they're sunken down into this casting. This is the good one. This has regular screws. They discovered also that Bristol screws like to freeze inside here, and it's almost impossible to get them out. If I do get one with Bristol screws, I have a little miniature shirt pocket like jeweler's screwdriver, and I heat this thing with a cigarette lighter and get it good and hot, and maybe even dribble a tiny bit of like a CRC brand 556 is great for that. It's a good penetrating spray oil, and just be patient with it. And with a little bit of heat and a little bit of penetrating oil, you can get them to snap and come out. You remove that, and then there's two C clips, or Jesus clips as I call them. So named because you go to take them off, and all of a sudden, ping, they fly across the room, and you say, Jesus, where did that go? Anyway, after you get the turntable, that'll enable you to pull the turntable out. And you can see this thing needs plenty of help. The interesting thing about this was stored in a damp basement, and there it goes. And the only good thing about storing them in a moist, damp basement is the drive wheel does not deteriorate. This drive wheel is just as good as new, and it's good and supple. It's got good springiness to it. There's no flat spots, no thumps, so that's usable. That's a good thing. Anyway, where did that stupid thing go? Anyway. Now, before you start this next procedure, you do have to take the top cap off. There's two screws that hold it from inside. On the bottom, there's a metal plate there, too. You remove that, and then there's two screws that hold this red cap on. You take that off. At that point, don't go any further. Oh, you notice the this vinyl part here. Somebody's got to reproduce this thing. People, come on. What a cottage industry that would be. There's tens of thousands of these out there, and they all need. This is it's kind of like the tri-corner hat. This is like the from the Revolution. That's what you could make. Make a tri-corner hat out of that. But that can be ironed out between two pieces of hard stock paper and a steam iron, or not even steam, just regular hot iron. Iron it out till it's flat, and then press it between two books, or between the pages of an old book, and then just weight it down with a car battery or something. Works just fine. Anyway, the next step you do is take this, sneak into the kitchen. I've seen this causes problems too. A saucepan, regular small saucepan, fill it half full of water. Then take the turntable, complete with the separators in it, but you must take the cap off because the cap will melt. The separators won't melt because they're Bakelite. Then position this light. Put the turntable assembly upside down into the water like this. Put it on the stove and bring the water to a boil, or a ball, as Paula Dean says, a ball. Anyway, when that starts to boil, use pot holders because this sucker's going to get hot. Then keep testing this. And when you start turning this with your thumbs gently, and once it starts to, you can see a little bit of movement, gently push down on it. Gently push down, and these separators will, the old glue will melt from the heat, and it'll pop these separators out. And once they're apart, then you're home free. You can clean up the posts that are down inside here. See those two posts? Well, there's the gear in the middle and the two posts. So clean them up real good. Put a drop of oil on them, and a very small drop of oil, and then you reassemble it. And that's really all there is to it. And that way you can save one of these. This turntable should clean up pretty good. We'll try it anyway. If I can't clean this one, it's kind of pitted. Depends on how bad it looks. I might have another turntable to put on this one. Anyway, this is a long video, but it was worth showing just to get these things apart. And as I said, using this saucepan, yeah, it's going to cause problems if certain people see it. Significant others that kind of don't like their kitchen stuff being used for softening up old glue. It's not like you're taking a dump in it, but it's best to do it when nobody else is around. It's like using the dishwasher to clean car parts. I know you all do it. But anyway, that's our video for this morning. Stay tuned, there'll be more.